Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Umineko When They Cry. Boy oh boy, did we get some lovely family drama in the previous video, which, yeah, that's kind of what I was looking forward to. I just wanted people to yell at each other, and yelling they sort of did. More specifically, Ava. Ava, I've got some negative feelings on. Some of these family members I'm feeling kind of iffy on so far, but yeah, they're all just a bundle of joy, aren't they? And the fingers were definitely pointed towards Kraus and his wife Natsuhi in the previous video with the business ventures that they have been going on and, well, kind of failing, but I think that'll be sort of explored a little bit more here, especially with what everybody has been up to. Because, I mean, if we can take an hour talking about what Kraus and Natsuhi have been up to, then we've definitely got quite a few videos ready to go with everybody else, especially when we're going to throw some coal there onto the fire. But we crossed the hall again on our way to the entrance. I believe now we're following the quote-unquote kids, the children of all the families here. Oh, there she is. There she is, looking beautiful as always, and definitely not scary. As we did, we once again spotted that witch's portrait. However, spotted is probably not the best word to describe that experience. It was more like our eyes were inexorably drawn to it. Sorry, I don't know how to read or pronounce anything, but that woman's eyes, with their sage-like glamour, definitely had the power to make those who viewed it stand rooted to the spot. Yeah, I'm gonna blame her looking at me weird that I can't actually pronounce my words properly. What's crazy is that there's multiple of this painting in this facility, in this building here. So, yeah, she's definitely around here. She's got a presence. I want to believe. If it keeps me alive, I'll believe. But back when he had asked what this picture was, the first person to tell him had been Maria. Therefore, when Battler showed signs of doubt, Maria must have felt that Battler didn't have faith in her. Of course, that wasn't what Battler meant. Maria ran up to the portrait and began banging on a plate hanging below it. Maybe the title of the portrait was written there. Maria, trying to prove that she wasn't lying, obstinately continued to hit the plate. When he patted Maria's head and apologized, she seemed to accept it, sticking out her chest and proudly ooh-oohing. It's not a When They Cry series title if, what the? Yeah, it's definitely not a title from the When They Cry series if there's not some sort of weird sounding thing that a character has to say. The what? Yeah, even that sticks out a little bit to me. The plate did have the title of the portrait written on it, but it was much too big to contain only that. Beneath the title was what appeared to be a long epitaph. If you just skimmed over it, several unnerving words would jump out at you. I think the beloved part also just kind of sticks out. Yeah, deep. Wait, we actually have like a mystery of our treasure, of our great money?
っていうか兄貴、これマジなのか？これを書かせたおじいさまは、この絵とこの碑文に関しては何も語ってくれないんだ。でも、親類たちの間では、おじいさまの黄金の隠し場所を記したもので、この謎を解いた者に家督と黄金のすべてを譲るという意味ではないかと、もっぱらささやかれてるよ。
Wow, alright, I guess we do have a little bit of a mystery. Supposedly a mystery.
さてな、10トンの金塊なんてね、私はちょいと眉唾だけどな。
しかしよ、こんな碑文を読んじまうと、マジかなって気になっちまうな。
I think I already explained grandfather's upbringing. Yes, you have. If there's anything else to talk about, let it be how he got so crazy. But let me also mention the Ushiromiya family's Legend of the Gold. Okay, I'm willing to hear this one too, and which means I'm going to be doing a lot of talking. But grandfather succeeded the Ushiromiya family after it was destroyed in the Great Kanto earthquake. And by successfully riding the stormy seas after the war, he managed to accumulate great wealth. That much of the story everyone knows. However, this is where the strange part begins. All right, I'm with you. Part of it involves grandfather's black magic obsession, so its credibility is extremely low, but, well, wait until the end before you doubt or make fun of it. No, I'm gonna be actively making fun and poking at things here. After the war, grandfather correctly predicted what the future would hold and won in a huge gamble, accumulating a vast store of wealth. But there's a mysterious legend about how he gained his initial funding. Grandfather came from a branch family and had no connections in the business world or the financial world. Even though he later built connections with the occupying forces, he supposedly started as a nameless person who hadn't yet gained anyone's trust. It takes trust to gather money. It takes money to also gather money. Let's also remember that. But there's no way anyone would lend money to someone they didn't trust. How did grandfather, who had no reputation at all, manage to obtain his first vast chunk of funds? When asked that question, grandfather supposedly answered like this: "On a certain day, I encountered the golden witch Beatrice." Grandfather then went on and on about his continuing research into alchemy and techniques for summoning demons in order to become a great magician. Jesus. And the entity summoned as the result of the demon calling ceremony was the golden witch Beatrice. He then apparently made a contract by which he would receive fortune and honor in exchange for his own soul. The witch then granted grandfather 10 tons of gold. Damn, that easy, huh? Grandfather used this gold as collateral to prepare a vast quantity of funds, which he then used to multiply his wealth many times over and revive the Ushiromiya family. It seems this story's so old that even our parents were told it when they were still children. So back when our parents were young, they explored this island in all sorts of ways, believing that the gold that grandfather had received from the witch might be hidden somewhere. However, since there was the danger of them getting lost in the abandoned forest, grandmother began to spread the story that the witch lived in the forest and approaching it was forbidden. Oh, you know what? Man, there's no witch in there then. Yeah, what the fuck? That's bullshit. I don't believe that there's a witch somewhere in there. It's just a scary forest. Because, yeah, I mean, as it's been talked about before, yeah, forests can be fucking scary. If you're going in ill-prepared, or even if you are prepared, you are at risk. I don't think there's a witch in there necessarily, but there's definitely some suspicious things going around here for sure.
俺たちも小さい頃、親からその話を聞かされて、宝探しと称して島中はあちこちうろうろして、森で迷ってワンワン泣いて、使用人さんに見つけてもらって、親にめちゃくちゃ怒られたんじゃなかったっけ？懐かしいぜ。
Anyone would believe a story that crazy. I mean, well, especially if you're young, that is. But yeah, I mean, okay, let me rephrase all that. No one would believe a story that crazy unless you were young, or me, who's gullible. But yeah, I mean, children will take up anything that seems interesting, anything that will make their eyes go wide, and especially if money's involved, you know, big ass gold bars. Yeah, let's go on a fucking treasure hunt. I'm ready.
バカだったよな。だってよ、じいさまはその資本金で儲けた挙句でこの島を買うんだぜ。この島に来る前から黄金を持ってたってことになるじゃねえか。
Unless the witch followed him here and, you know, made a hut or something somewhere in the forest, which I highly doubt.
黄金伝説も信憑性が増してくるじゃねえか。じいさまが後宮家復興の資本金にしたという魔女に授けられた黄金が10トン。
For some reason, my brain is still struggling to, like, connect. Yeah, that's 10 tons of gold.
そいつがどこかに今も眠っていて、
That's a lot of
じいさまは
gold.
この謎を解けたやつに全部を譲ろうって。じいさまらしいセンスというか。な、 マジならなんとも景気のいい話だぜ。
The epitaph carved into the plate was very mysterious, with something like a poem or a song written on it. The text was incredibly disturbing, filled with the signs of grandfather's black magic hobby, yeah, let's call it a hobby, and its contents were in truly bad taste. But it could definitely be viewed as a puzzle, which, if solved, might lead to the hidden gold.
そういうつもりなのかどうか、おじいさまの胸中は想像もつかないけどね。
Yeah, hopefully there isn't some sort of mechanic in this where I actually have to use my brain in order to figure out some sort of riddle here. If this actually does connect to it, you know, riddles are my enemy, and I will make a true fool of myself trying to solve it.
一つ言えるのは、このうさんくさい碑文を。
欲の皮が突っ張ってるうちの親父あたりだろうぜ。じいさまの黒魔術趣味はバカにしてるくせに、この隠し黄金の話だけは信じてやがる。
It's really weird to try and associate that old man with, you know, making something such as a riddle, such as like a puzzle or like some sort of mystery for his family or others to try and solve. Like, that just doesn't sound like him from what we've seen of him so far. But maybe that's just something that he seeks. Somebody to truly understand his perspective, to truly see that that there is like a witch and there's all this crazy shit going on or something. I don't know.
調子のいい話さ。
確かに現実的な話じゃないよね。
You don't
当時
say.
無名で何のコネクションもなかったおじいさまに無償で莫大な金塊を融資する人物なんているわけがない。
Again, you need money for money.
それがいたからこそ、おじいさまはそのスポンサーを魔女と呼んだというなら考えられない話じゃないけど。
I mean, I'll keep in my mind that, yeah, he somehow, some way, through inexplicable means, received a lot of money. And then he used that a lot of money to get, I guess, in a much more legitimate way, more money.
でもよ、10トンだぜ、10トン。一体現金に直したらいくらくらいになるんだ？っていうか、とんでもない量になるはずだぜ。
とんでもない量だよ。人類が有史以来発掘した黄金はせいぜい10万トンって言われてる。
Ooh, alright, yep, we got a pretty good percentage there
人
then.
類の歴史が手にした黄金の1万分の1を個人が手にしてるっていうのはとてつもないことだよ。それが一箇所にあり、しかもそれをおじいさまにポンと貸し出せるような魔女。ただものじゃないね。
No, we're not.
私はよ、その10トンって数字ももはや嘘くさいと思ってるぜ。
I mean, the idea of there being 10 tons of gold can be pretty silly. I mean, if we want to think of it in a realistic sense, no, it wasn't that. It may have been gold, but definitely not 10 tons of it. But, I don't
第
know.
一よ、じいさま以外に見たやつはいないんだろ？仮に気前のいい魔女が実在して黄金を貸したとしても、それは10は10でも10キロぐらいの間違いじゃねえのか？10キロでも相当いい金額になるはずだぜ。
10キロの黄金っていくら？
Maria, who wasn't following the story and felt like she was being spoken to in riddles, finally found a place where she could ask us a question. Well, I gotta admit, you know, I'm also feeling like, yeah, there's a lot of riddles and, you know, all of this crazy, confusing shit going around, but I'm hanging on by a thread. Don't worry, guys. It was a question I also wanted answered right then. Whether it was 10 kilograms or 10 tons, it still felt like a huge amount, but I had no idea exactly how huge. George on a key folded his arms and tried to remember the market price of gold.
このまま採掘が進めば、人類はあと半世紀ほどで全てを掘り尽くしてしまうんじゃないかって憶測もある。
A gross estimation, please, George.
デタラメに言って1キロあたり200万円程度の価値はあるんじゃないかと思うね。
Fuck.
ひゅー！私よ、10キロってのは今適当に言った控えめな数字なんだけどよ、それでも2000万円の価値があるってことになるじゃねえかよ。
マリア体重28キロ。
ということはマリアちゃんと同じ重さの黄金ならその価値は5000万円を超えるって計算になるね。
God damn. That is really just one way to look at it.
10トンならいくらだ？ 10 キロで2000万が1000倍だから、はあ、200億円か？ こりゃたまらねえや。
How much is 20 billion yen actually worth? We can only measure it relative to our own pocketbooks. Anyway, let's say that a person's wages over a lifetime are about 200 million yen. You grow up and work like crazy, sacrificing your life for your company, and you're finally freed as you approach old age. Everything, including retirement money, might add up to about 200 million yen. In other words, that's the amount of money that'll be made throughout a human's life. No, you could even call it the value of a life. So 100 times that sum is an unbelievable amount of money. If you work from age 20 to 60, that's 40 years of work, so it's equal to 4,000 years of work wages. If you worked every day starting from the Jomon period, you'd only reach that number about now.
ほう、200億円ってすごい？
Yes, slightly.
ああ、すげえよ。マリアの大好きなショートケーキだったら、多分一生かかっても食い切れないくらい買えるぜ。
The idea of being a billionaire is something that just, I don't think a lot of people, including myself, truly fathom, because you are just so far beyond what anybody can really attain. Like that is true. Like you can just never get there through normal means. You either have to have connections, ridiculously good luck, as we've seen here, or I guess both. But no, there's so many factors that are just the percentage of actually being with them, you know, there's just no way. They're so small. So the gap is just ridiculous. Even being, let's say, you know, at $1 million. Yeah, I mean, that's attainable, I would say. It's a lot of fucking work, but that's attainable. 10 million, 100 million. Okay, you're starting to create such a gap that is so fucking ridiculous that you'd have to already be in some sort of powerful position or job role and be really good at saving money.
でも
It's beyond me.
200億円という現金
Beyond
なら
my
いざ知れず
comprehension.
意味はあるんじゃないのかな。証券とかだったら国が滅びちまったら紙切れになっちまうわけだし。
そういう考え方もあるね。
The idea of bonds is still kind of a mystery to me. Like, I get what they are. I get what they literally are on paper. But, no, bonds are very interesting.
でも 10kg のインゴット一つでも体感重量は相当のものだよ。聞いたことない？ 50kg の人間は背負えても 50kg の俵は担げないって。
That's bullshit. Let me try.
それだけの莫大な重量の金塊を魔女から授かった10トンの黄金なんて例え方をしたのかもしれないよ。10トンという数字も象徴的な感じがするしね。
It's weird. It's that, like, small number sort of, you know, what am I trying to say? It's perspective. A small number, you see a small number, you don't think too much of it. And, you know, a little bit ago when I said I'm still trying to wrap my head around the 10 tons, I wasn't really thinking, yeah, that's a ridiculous fucking amount. It's still kind of bugging me that it's like I can't connect that with, that is so unreasonable in terms of an amount of money.
つまり借りた金のありがたさは10トンの黄金に匹敵する価値があった。
じいさまに大金持ちの勇敢マダムが気前よく恵んでくれて、そのご婦人を魔女と呼んだ。
I mean, there's definitely something to it. Like I said, there's a lot of suspicion here, a lot of unknowns, and probably an illegitimate way that he obtained this money. But, as I said, money to money, and he was able to make it work. And he was able to make successful, legitimate business decisions that landed him where he's at today. You know, crazy and all. I see. And Jessica's example isn't bad. Someone who would generously lend a huge sum of money to grandfather when he still had no reputation might as well be called a witch. Furthermore, grandfather actually did use that money to build a vast amount of wealth later on. The fact that this person was so great at judging people might also justify calling her a witch. Also, since she went to the trouble of lending all that money, she might have enthusiastically overseen how it was spent. The decision to unexpectedly get involved with the occupying forces and profit from the Korean War demands might have been inspired by the witch herself. That might explain why he claimed to have received both wealth and honor from her.
なるほどな。ってことはつまりこの魔女様は後宮家復興のための資金を恵んでくださった。 となりゃ、じいさまが感謝の気持ちを込めて、こんだけでかい絵を描かせて掲げさせたってのも、
I think it
なるほ
goes,
ど、おかしい話じゃ
unfortunately,
ないのかもな。
unfortunately, I think this all goes a little bit further in that there's less of like feeling like he definitely owes her big time and, you know, wants to show his respect to her, but also I think he might be obsessed with the idea of her.
ひょっとするとよ、当の本人は見るからに魔女っぽいばあさんだったかもしれないぜ。それをじいさまが美化してこんな美人に描いてくれたってのは考えられる話さ。案外当の本人に会ってみたらこんなに美人じゃないかもしれねえな。
Yeah, if we ever did meet this person and they look exactly like they do here in these portraits, I may shit myself because that is some crazy like to get the idea across of how somebody looks and have somebody actually paint that, and that's your only reference, and that's actually how the person looks. That's insane. Or at least that's beyond me.
ありえるね。ベアトリーチェって名前はいかにも洋風だけど、僕たち一族の名前がみんな洋風であることを考えると、このベアトリーチェって名前も日本人名を無理やり洋風にアレンジしたものなのかもしれないよ。
なるほど、なるほど。この美人は絵の中にしかいないってわけだな。それじゃあの立派そうな胸は揉めそうにないぜ。
Oh my god. Well, never mind whatever I was about to comment.
鼻から魔女なんておかしいんだよな。そんなのが地球上のどこにいるってんだ。
I laughed and made fun of the witch, trying to distinguish myself from the kid I was 6 years ago who feared the witch of the forest, when Maria tugged on my sleeve. Oh, she don't like that. I could tell by how hard she pulled that she was a bit upset.
なんだよ、マリア。
はーい。
Hey, yo.
ふーん。
What's wrong?
ベアトリーチェはいる。
Maria stared up at me. God damn, kids are scary. She had on her usual sour look, but I could tell that she was angry by the color of her eyes.
魔女いる。魔女はいる。ふーん。ふーん。
You guys remember how, like, weird she was acting on the boat as we were approaching the island? Yeah.
なんだよ、そりゃいるだろうよ。テレビをつけりゃアニメとかによ。
いる。魔女はいる。
Weren't we supposed to go to the beach? I started getting impatient, not knowing why Maria was jumping on me like this. Then Jessica tapped me on the shoulder and whispered,
バカだな。子供の夢打ち砕いてんじゃねえぜ。
Yeah, is that really what all that is?
マリアは魔女とかベアトリージェとかが確かに存在するって信じてんだよ。
確かマリアちゃんは学校の文集に将来なりたいものは魔女って書いたんだっけ？
Maria nodded seriously. Tears started to run from the corners of her eyes. I see, to a girl who wants to become a witch in the future, the existence of Beatrice was proof that witches do exist in this world, and was therefore an image that she yearned after and admired. Calm down now.
魔女はいる。なのにバトラが信じない。
うん、いるよ。魔女は。お兄ちゃんは信じるよ。
Georgianiki kneeled down and hugged Maria's head. Watching this, Jessica poked my side. So that's what it is. It's like shouting that Santa Claus doesn't exist in front of a child who believes in him on Christmas Eve. I'm not the kind of guy who likes to shatter kids' dreams. And we all know that Santa does exist, right, guys?
別にマリアの夢にケチをつけたわけじゃねえんだ。ベアトリーチェはいるよな。今もこの島の森の中に住んでいて、夜な夜なこの屋敷で何をやってるのか覗き見しに来るんだろ。だから森には入っちゃいけない。夜はいつまでも暗い森を眺めていてはいけない。
Okay, don't say that though, because that's gonna get me a little spooked.
森の魔女ベアトリーチェに見つかってしまうかもしれないから、バサマがそう言ってたんだもんな。
本当にバトラは信じる？
おお、信じるぜ。ケチをつけて悪かったよ。ほら、仲直りしようぜ。
Come on, guys, let's go into the forest at nighttime. I stuck out my hand, Maria grabbed it with her tiny hand, and we made up. Maria didn't grumble any more than that, so Georgianiki and Jessica were relieved. Yeah, I mean, you could just...
あら、
hold on there, Shonen. Yeah, you could just say that that was all, Maria just thinking like, oh, this, figure does exist and I look up to them and whatever. And, obviously an adult isn't going to think that because why would you? But I want to say that there's more to it. But then again, I've come off of a lot of batshit insane visual novel stories recently where I don't trust anything anymore, especially children. Children are freaking scary when it comes to stories. If there's a child character, I'm immediately pointing my finger and saying, that is the devil, and I cannot trust them.
皆様、ここにいらっしゃられたんですか。
Yeah, we were supposed to go to the beach, but I think we got a little tied up.
てっきり海岸へ行かれたとばかり。
Shonen-chan, carrying a basket, was surprised to find us all gathered in front of the portrait.
シャノンか。いやさ、バトラはベアトリーチェの肖像画を初めて見るからさ。まあ見とれてたってわけだぜ。
そうですね。
Oh yeah, by the way, I still stand by the thing I said a little bit ago, where if any of these portraits change even slightly, that is it. I am shooting my monitor.
ベアトリーチェ様って
I cannot
本
stand
当に
that.
お綺麗です。
That is actually terrifying to
さ
me.
ぞや親方様を虜になさったろうと思います。
パトロン説の他にも、おじい様の初恋の人だという説もあるんだ。どちらにせよ、彼女に出会ってから数十年を経ているだろうにもかかわらず、今なお心の中に大きく居座り続けているんだから。
I think it goes a little bit further than that, George.
それは今なお虜にしているということなんだろうね。
Oh, even more so.
やれやれ。これじゃ、ばあ様はさぞや嫉妬しただろうぜ。
私はよく知らねえけど、やっぱりそういうのはあったらしいぜ。
I do wonder about this no longer living grandmother of theirs. What did she think of him and, how he came to be, especially with all this black magic and witch sort of stuff going on here? I do have to wonder.
ばあ様は金髪の浮気相手がいると信じてたらしいな。
Oh, there we go.
いい匂い。シャノンからいい匂い。
Maria, sniffing, approached the basket that Shonen-chan was holding with interest. After hearing that, I noticed a fragrant scent with a touch of vanilla.
申し訳ございません。熊沢さんからこれを皆さんにお届けするようにことづかりました。
なんだろう。素敵だね。クッキーだ。
Oh, there we go. All right.
クッキー食べたい。クッキー食べたい。お召し上がりいただけますよ。
Yeah, fuck all the adults. We get cookies and they get political family drama.
でも、
Would it be appropriate to serve cookies in a place like this? In front of the portrait? What, are we just not gonna, leave a tray out for her or anything? Shonen-chan sent us a glance that seemed to ask what we wanted to do about it. Well, yeah, guess eating here would be bad manners, generally speaking.
マリア、ここじゃなくてよそで食べようぜ。
Such as the beach?
クッキーをお弁当にピクニックに行こう。
ピクニック行こう。ピクニック行こう。クッキー食べれるなら行こう。
そうだな。ちょっと表の空気を吸いに行くか。
At the beach, right?
魔女様の御前でつまみ食いもねえもんだぜ。
そうだ。もともと私たちは浜辺に行こうって言ってたんじゃねえか。行こうぜ行こうぜ。
シャノンちゃん、申し訳ないんだけど、腰を下ろせる敷物と水筒にお茶を入れてきてもらうのをお願い。
はい、かしこまりました。
Shonen-chan received her instructions and gracefully bowed before retracing her steps. We headed for the beach on our own. Everyone headed for the entrance in a group. Feeling as though that witch was staring down at our backs, I turned around once more. I thought the fucking painting was gonna change when Maria popped up. God damn.
バトラ、まだ信じてない？
いや、信じるぜ。その方が夢があるしな。黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェがじい様に10トンの黄金を授けた。
I do have to wonder, what do you guys think about the supernatural and believing in things that, yeah, when you think about it, don't make a whole lot of sense? Does that, make you happier to live that way? Give a little bit more excitement in your life?
それで、
Or other
その黄金
feelings?
がどこかに眠っているかもしれない。しかもそいつを、じい様は怪しげな碑文に書き残し、 こういうロマンはあった方がいいってもんさ。
200億円の黄金か。私たち4人で山分けしたってとんでもない金額になるな。
Yeah, we could like start families and, go on business ventures or something.
一人頭
And maybe not be
50
as such a
億円か。
failure as, Kraus, because it sort of seemed like he has yet to find success,
すごいね。
but he has found debt.
それだけあったらどんな事業でも起こせそうだよ。いや、そもそも働かずに生涯を優雅に過ごせるだろうね。
50億円よりクッキークッキー。
マリアには金よりクッキーだな。しかし、50億円か。
Nice. I like cookies. I don't like scary stuff like witches actually existing.
バカバカしい。
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We're back at it. We're right back at it.
まさかお前たちは親父殿の黄金伝説を本当に信じているのかね。
魔女が黄金を与えた云々はさすがに信じねえさ。
But the fact that there's gold, or at least a whole bunch of money lying around, probably.
だが黄金の話だけは間違いじゃない。
お父様が出自不明の金塊を持っていたことは複数の筋から確認されているわ。死んだマルソーの会長は生前、お父様に某所で積み上げられた金塊を実際に見せられたという。
I do want to be a little careful, a little hesitant with believing what other people say because, it eventually will become a huge-ass game of telephone where, what somebody saw, and that, story getting passed down is probably going to get altered and changed around a whole bunch of times.
お父様はそれを指して10トン分あるとはっきり明言したわ。
老いぼれのざれ言じゃないか。親父殿と一緒に存在しない黄金の存在をでっち上げただけだ。取るにも足らない。
存在せん黄金にあないな軍資金は集まらへんで。会長さんは生前その真摯なお人柄であれだけ大勢の財界人から尊敬を集めたお人や。詐欺の片棒なんか担がへん。
兄貴、マルソーの会長は確かに見たんだ。10トンの黄金をはっきりとその目で。
Damn, if only we had like a photo or something.
しかも親父は
Because
その
10 tons, I
インゴットの
mean,
一つを任意で抜き取らせ、
that
会
much
長に持
gold,
ち帰らせて鑑定させた。
that much gold in one area, congregated in one spot, or at least a significant amount that is in somebody's possession that is coming into everything with nothing. Yeah, I mean, that would definitely create some credibility.
それは10キロのインゴットで、鑑定結果は
However, this was like decades ago, so I do not think there's any of that.
インゴット表面には後ろ宮家の家紋である片翼の和紙が刻印されていたという。
後宮の黄金伝説は瞬く間に財界のフィクサーたちの間に広がったわ。鋳造元不明の黄金は換金率が悪い。ボロ儲けのチャンスだと思った彼らはそれを担保に認め、結果お父様は莫大な融資を受けることができた。
バカバカしいにも程があるじゃないか。お前たちはいくつになるんだ。
Oh, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out for myself.
まだそんな子供の
My
頃
age,
のお
that
とぎ
is.
話を真に受けているのかね。第一、その10トンの黄金の証拠はどこにあるんだ。
I want to say that Kraus also believes that there's some gold, but he's trying to play the role of, being the bigger man, not believing in that nonsense. And, people will think, well, he's probably right. And will probably say, oh yeah, he was right when they find nothing.
親父殿と親交の深かったごく一部の人間のざれ言だけじゃないか。もし当時の外需拡大がなかったら後宮家の再興はならず、親父殿は正規のペテン師として追われていただろう。
じゃあクラウス兄さんは黄金など最初から存在せず、
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm
全
getting
てお
here.
父さんのでっち上げだ言うんか。
I kind of want to, continue to run the middle road where some of the story is true and some of it, such as, the witch stuff, is false.
も
He
ちろ
got
んさ
money somehow.
だからありもしない黄金を遺産分配に含めて議論しようというバカな息子たちが現れる。どうぞ。 まさかお前までこんなでっち上げを信じてるって言うんじゃないだろうな。
You know what? Rosa doesn't do a whole lot of talking, probably because she's like the youngest of all the siblings here. What does Rosa have to say?
私はお父様が本当に黄金を持っていたかどうかを確かめることはできない。
But
でもお父様の4人の子供の一人として正当な分を主張したいだけよ。
okay.
ほう。
Okay, you know what? Very fair answer.
ローザも言うようになったじゃないか。なるほど。お前たちはこう言いたいわけかね。私が黄金を独り占めしようとしていると。
You know what? That is the vibe I get. That is the vibe I get out of a man that is named Kraus.
兄さんが莫大な軍資金を調達したのは事実。それがお父様の個人資産の横領では断じてありえないというなら、つまりはそういうことよ。
兄貴はすでに10トンの金塊を見つけてるんじゃないかって、俺たちはそう見てるのさ。
Ooh. Ooh. I love it. I
バ
love
カ
it.
バカしい。そんなものは元より存在しない。
じゃあ説明なさいよ。お父様の財産の横領、お父様の隠し黄金。
Yeah, you know what? Show us some financial statements.
そのどちらでもないなら、どうやってあれだけの軍資金を調達できたっていうの？
Let us talk with your accountant. You know, who's managing all this?
私にも政界財
We'll
界に
we'll
友
trace
人
it
が
down
多くい
somehow.
てね。彼らから協力を得ただけに過ぎんよ。それについてお前たちに説明する義務はない。分かっているだろう。話せぬ方面の筋もある。
兄貴がそうだと言い張るんならそれでいいさ。でもよ兄貴、親父は長くない。来年の今日まで生きてるなんて誰にも保証できねえんだぜ。
See, if Natsuhi was still here, she'd probably be screaming and, you know, having the headache and everything.
親父が死ねばその時点で遺産相続だ。俺たちは全員の立場から中立な弁護士と会計士を立てて、親父の財政状況を調査させるぜ。
その時、お父様の資産に兄さんが不当な干渉をしていることが発覚したなら、
Then he's just going down.
お分かりね。
何の話だかさっぱりわからん。
Oh, come on, don't play dumb.
妻でなくても憤慨したい気持ちだ。
お父さんの黄金はもちろんお父さんの財産や。表に出せん金やっちゅうのも分かっとる。しかし4人に公平な権利があるはずや。
つまり兄貴が黄金を独り占めしていないかどうか、
Which I'm actually kind of excited for that.
財務状況を調査させてもらうぜってことなのさ。
See, I'm no accountant. You know, my accounting knowledge is pretty limited. And, but I do know this. When it comes to any business, any company, any, you know, venture of any sort that involves the transactions of money in some sort of way, there is always gotta be documentation of where money went, how it was used, how you receive money. Everything is documented. Money cannot just appear like it did, I guess, back with old granddaddy here meeting a witch. Money comes from somewhere, and there's got to be, you know, documentation, a paper trail, if you will, for it. So that will sort of reveal all.
いい機会じゃない。兄さんの言うところの友人知人にバックアップしてもらったというところを証明なさいよ。そうすれば兄さんは潔白。私たちはくだらない疑いを持ってしまったことを潔く謝れるわ。ねえ、ローザ。
そうね。クラウス兄さんこそ話をはぐらかしてるわ。
Yeah, he's playing dumb. Like he's not saying like I understand where you guys are coming from. However, he's just saying I don't understand a single thing you all are saying. I'm just going to sound dumb if I say a single word.
やましいところがないというなら証明してくれればいいだけの話なのに、兄さんはまるで取り合おうとしてくれない。
だがまあ兄貴の立場にも配慮するさ。親父の名代ということで俺たちより一つ多く責任を背負ってるところもあるだろう。今まで散々気楽に過ごしてきた俺たちがそれを察しないでブーブー言うのはこりゃフェアな話じゃないぜ。
ほう、さっきから脅されたり持ち上げられたりと忙しい。本題に入りたまえ。
I think the point has been like brought up or hinted at quite a few times here, buddy.
つまりな、
別に私たちの権利を放棄するって言ってるわけじゃないのよ。ただ、その権利を主張する際に、兄さんの立場に立った寛大な理解があってもいいんじゃないかしら、ということなのよ。
つまり条件を飲んでくれたら。
Oh, thank you, Hideyoshi. Thank you for really making it clear what's going on
お父
here.
さんの財務状況調査をクラス兄さんに一任してもいいっちゅうこっちゃ。
Basically, you listen to them or they fuck you over. And yeah, I mean, they're basically giving him an out. They really are. All of the siblings from Ava downward suspected that Kraus was trying to steal their father's wealth. So letting Kraus report the state of that wealth was extremely contradictory and a huge concession. If, as they claimed, Kraus was actually embezzling money, Kraus would be able to hide that fact. Besides which, it'd be possible for him to control the distribution of the inheritance in a manner favorable to himself. Kraus, realizing that this sounded too good to be true, could not help but feel suspicious. He couldn't help but worry about what they would ask for in exchange. And you shouldn't ask. If Kraus asks, what, how do you guys want to go about it or whatever, that's basically admitting defeat. Because he's got the curiosity here, and that basically points to there's a chance, and if there's a chance, therefore, he's doing something suspicious.
信用ゼロの私に長兄としての信頼を返してくれるというのか。その見返りは何だね。
同じ兄弟としての公平な権利さ。俺たちの兄貴は親父の財産をかすめ取るようなやつじゃない。
Supposedly.
だがしかし、兄貴に融資するパトロンも存在しない。となりゃ、つまりこういうことなら兄弟は納得するわけさ。
What if Kraus has his own witch?
兄さんは10トンの黄金を見つけ、それを担保に軍資金を作った。そう。お父様がかつてそうしたようにね。
そういうことなら、お父さんの財務状況におかしな点は一切あらへん。クラス兄さんはずっとお父さんの世話をしてきた高校息子や。そないなお人を信用せんわけにはいかへん。
I love the game they're playing. It's so fucked, but I love it. It's so obvious what they're doing here.
もっとはっきり具体的に言いたまえ。
条件の一つ目。
Oh, here we go.
まず兄貴は、親父の黄金を見つけていたことを認めること。
ありもしない黄金を私が持っていると認めろと。
条件2。その黄金について、兄弟の取り分を認めこれを支払うこと。
バカな。ありもしない200億の黄金について一人頭50億。合計150億を支払えというのか。
Yeah, I mean, that is insane. True insanity of numbers here. And supposedly, he doesn't have that.
バカバカしい。
So he can't make that payment.
最後まで聞きなあれ。そない大金出てくるのは分かっとる。でけへん取引はするつもりないで。もちろん黄金の取り分についてもクラウス兄さんの今日までのご苦労を十分にねぎらって換算するつもりや。
Hideyoshi is so fucking awesome.
条件3。黄金の分配は後宮本家当主跡継ぎの肩書きに 50%。
ありがたくて涙が出る分配じゃないか。
Just like the Seagulls.
存在しない黄金のために
And the Higurashi. And me sometimes.
支払えというのかね。
条件の4。分配金は親父の死亡時に遺産分配に含めて清算する。ただし手付金として俺たちの取り分の 10% を即納してもらう。支払いは来年3月までだ。
どうやクラウス兄さん、お父さんの財産をめぐる信頼を回復する絶好のチャンスやないか。
Yeah, they sort of backed him into a corner here. They really just ganged up on his ass.
さすがに75億の大金はお父さんが亡くなったからやないと無理やろ。だが
親父殿の財政状況調査を私に一任する権利を7億5千万で売りつけようというのかね。
Oh, you find that funny, huh?
上等じゃないか。お前たちも成長したものだ。この私に取引を持ちかけられるようになるとは。
I guess you can kind of say the tables have turned a little bit here.
公弁された場合の再調査は誰がするのかね。
兄さんでいいわ。
Okay, giving him a little bit of control.
多分これが兄弟で合議する最初で最後の機会だもの。そんなことにはならないと信じてる。
ローザもたまには言うわね。
Yeah, Rosa's silence is pretty interesting here. I want to say that everybody is on the same page, and Rosa is a part of everyone here, and trying to gang up against Kraus, but I don't know, it's like she just doesn't have the weight that everybody else does, even their partners. By this point, it's obvious that Kraus wasn't at all trusted as the oldest sibling, so there's no need to go into detail. No, that is plainly obvious. The formerly tyrannical oldest brother had always abused his privileges and violated the other siblings' shares. It was in response to this that the other three, now adults, were finally teaming up and striking back for the first time.
申し訳ないが、条件はまだ続くんや。
There is.
条件5。
God damn, I thought it was just 4 conditions.
この取り決めはお父さんの遺言状に優先する。
Oh shit. Okay, that's a big one right
後に
there.
なってこの取り決めが保護になるような遺言が出てきちゃかなわんちゅうこっちゃな。
入念じゃないか。
No, that is a really big one there.
なら質問だが、仮に本当に黄金が見つかった場合、どうするのかね。
それに対する支払いを兄貴が済ませてる以上、俺たちは本当に黄金が出てこようが、俺たちの取り分は先払いってな感じになるわけだからな。
Yeah, they'll just turn a blind eye at that point.
夢があっていいじゃない。この島をリゾート化するつもりなんでしょ。その工事の途中でひょっこり黄金が見つかるかもしれないじゃない。
Ava let out a high-pitched laugh. Kraus watched but didn't even flinch.
条件に7をつけてもらおう。
Wait, what happened to the 6th? Did I just miss the 6th?
私以外の兄弟が黄金を発見した場合、
Or maybe I'm having a problem counting.
引き渡すこと。
もちろん保証。
It was a play on words. Of course, the others who were forcing Kraus to pay money for some non-existent gold wouldn't save Kraus his portion if they actually found it. From the beginning, this deal had been nothing more than a threat directed at Kraus. Regardless of the actual facts, it was still extremely likely that Kraus was embezzling his father's assets. I truly believe that is the case. I mean, it just sounds like it. Everybody is kind of ganged up, did a little bit of research, and found that nothing makes sense, but, you know, here he is, you know, just doing okay while failing. When Kinzo faced death at last and had his inheritance distributed, some unpleasant facts would surely come to light. That could easily become fatal to Kraus. The others had spotted this weak point and were threatening their brother under the veil of compromise, trying to wring a huge sum of money out of him. However, they had forgotten one thing. They had forgotten that their brother's brain moved so swiftly, at least when it came to cunning and guile, or gill, or whatever that word is, and they'd be forced to band together to combat him. While Ava could not stop smiling, sure of her victory, Kraus let out a gloating laugh to show how relaxed he was. Oh, he's got something on the fucking defense line here.
とても良い話じゃないか。私もお前たちとの関係が疎遠になっていたことには非常に心を痛めていた。この条件を飲むことによって兄弟間の関係が再び有効なものにできるなら、喜んで話に乗らせてもらおうじゃないか。
However,
喜べローザ。
oh, no however?
取引は成立だ。
Rosa's expression dimmed. It was never a good sign when her brother started talking like that. Yeah, he's got something up his sleeve. Ava also keenly picked up on this. That's why she was unable to wipe away a sense of unease even though Kraus had obediently accepted the deal.
嫌に素直ね。
No, he sees a fucking hole. He sees a hole in the plan somewhere.
兄さんらしくもないわ。
それはひどいじゃないか。
I feel like he's seen something that nobody else is picking out here. This is way beyond me, so I have no fucking idea, but he is seeing something that'll turn it around so much in his favor that he can walk away with so much.
私に下心がある
Or
と
at
いう
least
のか
losing way less.
あるわけもないさ。お前たちと同じだ。
Yeah, that means that there's something going on. Just the same as all of you. He seemed to emphasize just that one part. The color of Rudolph's face darkened. To him, it sounded as though Kraus was saying, I have a plan similar to yours. So Rudolph panicked. He rushed to bring this nearly resolved discussion to a conclusion.
ならいいんだ。じゃあ兄貴、ここにサインをもらえるか?
Oh, wow, they're gonna get his signature and everything. This is not a verbal agreement. Good, okay.
今の話を書き出した俺たちの誓約書だ。人数分ある。同じ内容に全員がサインする。
Rudolph took 4 written contracts out of his breast pocket that had the details of their deal written on them.
クラウス兄さんの提案した条件7ももう安心したってな。
兄貴、ペン使うか?
Rudolph took a fountain pen out of his breast pocket and offered it to Kraus. Kraus made as if to accept it, but then, with a small laugh, he drew back his hand without taking it and spoke.
実はこの取り決めを確かに履行するために1点だけ修正を提案したい。
And that would be... As soon as Kraus said that single sentence, all of the siblings felt as though something ominous was creeping up their backs at the same time. Oh, it's over.
ダメよ。
It's so Jover.
もう決まった話よ。黙ってサインを。
エヴァ、何を焦っているんだね。
Yep. Yeah, they all know. It's fucking over.
もちろんサインはする。お前たちに黄金の分け前、75億円分を約束する。親父殿の遺産分配の時、きれいさっぱり清算することも約束する。だが、一点だけどうしても譲歩してもらいたい部分があるのだよ。
何の話だよ。どの点が気に入らねえってんだ?
Well, I'm sure he doesn't like a lot of this, but yeah, let's hear
分
it.
け前の1割、7億5千万円を即納する点だよ。お前たちの指摘通り、私の財政状況は決して裕福ではない。
I think that was a way of showing that, yeah, he had the ability to do so, but if he were to stand his ground, then he wouldn't be able to. He is showing that he doesn't have that possibility.
数々の先行投資に
And
よって
therefore, he has
未来
found
に
nothing.
必ず回収できると保証され
And
る
that he's not committing any crime here, that is.
今のこの時点では火の車であることは認めなければならない。つまり、今すぐに動かせる金は全くないということだ。私は無能で詳細の嗅覚も鈍い。
Oh, okay. Play dumb again.
お前たちの言うところの弱り目の私には、7億半も半年で動かせる力はないということだよ。
I think he actually just protected his ass with this because that would have proven that there is something going on in some sort of way.
そこを100歩譲った上で、とりあえず1割の誠意でこの場を丸く収めちゃるっちゅう大サービスなんやで。
No, I know the game that they're playing here.
そう説明した上で、そこを
I may be
断るっちゅうんは
but I'm not
互いの信
stupid.
頼関係にちょいと影を落とすんとちゃいますか?
Hideyoshi had a humble expression on his face and was rubbing his hands together, but his eyes weren't calm at all. Kraus had already seen through to the shadow in the depths of those eyes.
お前たちは何を焦っているのか。
It's so fucking obvious. God damn it, they threw it.
それとも何に怯えているのかね。ローザ、私にだけは教えてくれんかね。他の兄弟たちには内緒でこっそりと。
別に私は。
よせよ兄貴。俺たちは兄貴がサインするかしないかしか聞いてない。妙な勘繰りも交渉もなしだ。
ほう、私には交渉の余地もないと。立場が弱いのは私の方で、公平な関係ではないと、そう言いたいのかね。
Shivers began to crawl up Rudolph's back. He began to feel himself getting overwhelmed by the height of his brother's completely unsurmountable wall, and the long shadow that had existed since they were children.
取引は公平な関係であるべきじゃないのかね。この取引は私にとっては、弟や妹たちと長いこと失ってきた信頼を取り戻し、それは私にとって 緊急に解決したかった心のしこりだ。それが今日解決できてとても嬉しいと思う。だがお前たちもこの取引を急ぎ締結することがとても嬉しいんじゃないのかね。
The only way they're going to get that signature out of him at this point is amending that part. And if they continue to hold off, that is it. It is completely over. Kraus stared at each of his siblings. They avoided his gaze with animal-like instinct. Only Hideyoshi was slow in avoiding it. So he was caught by Kraus's gaze.
秀吉兄さん、あなたの会社非常に好調子だそうじゃないですか。トントン拍子で上場を果たし、業績も株価も右肩上がり。
Oh man, he's gonna fucking flip it.
実に
He is
羨まし
flipping
い
it
こと
onto
です
him.
うちの人の話は関係ないでしょ。
だが株主たちに対する還元を怠ったのが悪かった。
The counterplay.
そして上場した時に足回りを固めきらなかったのもまずかった。気づいた時にはたちの悪い連中に自社株をだいぶ買い集められていたらしいじゃないですか。
なんでそんな話知っとるんや。
Oh, he did some research of his own.
秀吉さんと同じですよ。
All of these people play so fucking dirty.
私に融資する人間などいないと裏を取れる程度に、私も秀吉さんの裏を取れるのです。そんな不思議があることはないじゃないですか。
Kraus grinned broadly. In contrast, Hideyoshi's face was rapidly turning pale. Hideyoshi's company was a restaurant chain management company that he had started from nothing. Thanks to Hideyoshi's management efforts, the company had achieved success repeatedly, expanding its range, and a petition to make it a stock-listed company had recently succeeded. The greatest advantage of being in the stockholding system is that you can sell stock certificates and gain a large amount of financing. That amount tends to be far greater than a business's normal profits. So, this is an extremely effective way to gather massive funds to expand a business even further. However, in exchange for financing the company, the stockholders gain certain rights. They're given rights that allow them to observe and guide the company that they've invested in, leading to profits even greater than their original investments. This right is guaranteed to the stockholders, and they sometimes use it to dismiss ineffectual management. The right allows them to keep an eye on management and prevent the money that they've invested in the company from going to waste. However, if they use it forcibly, they can eject the former management and take over the company. After all, dismissing management and nominating new management are powers held by the general body of all shareholders. Yeah, stock is something that I recently dove a little bit further into, but something I learned originally in high school. It's a very, very crazy thing, honestly. It's powerful. But money, money talks. That power is determined by the majority decision of the stockholders. And people who hold more stock get to cast more votes. In other words, if some person or group holds a majority of the stock, they can freely chase out the old management and make the president anyone they'd like. If they want, it's also possible for them to make themselves president. Most companies take various defensive measures to stop malicious people from buying up their stock and threatening their position, like ensuring that lots of stock is bought by those close to them, such as company employees. However, Hideyoshi's company had only recently become stock listed, and he hadn't had time to strengthen those defensive measures. Or maybe Hideyoshi was so engrossed in the management of his company that he couldn't properly understand the dangers of being stock listed. It's hard to say whether he should be viewed as a kind-hearted manager immersed in the work of management, or a foolish manager who had his feet swept out from under him. In other words, there existed some people who wouldn't let him get away with that naivety unscathed. They began repeatedly buying up stock in Hideyoshi's company, rapidly gaining such strength that they couldn't be ignored. They then sent anonymous documents to the shareholders in an attempt to gain control of a majority. The documents read, "The current management continues to make pointless investments and is ignoring the needs of the stockholders. Let us force the current management to retire, cut the current wasted investments, and let this company be born again as one that gives more back to the stockholders." Uh-oh. it's very difficult to make the actual state of a company's management known. The fruits of Hideyoshi's sleepless nights and constant concern for his company were cruelly distorted, and he lost the trust of his stockholders. Thanks to these efforts, this group had almost collected a majority of the company's stock. At that point, even Hideyoshi noticed and started, sorry guys, I'm losing my ability to speak, even Hideyoshi noticed and started to buy back the stock, and the stockholders realized that the company was undergoing an acquisition maneuver, and each demanded a ridiculous price for the shares that Hideyoshi was trying to buy back. They continually tortured Hideyoshi, who had no leeway in the negotiation of the price. One of the certainties of capitalism is that the price will rise when two parties vie for the same thing. And one of the certainties of democracy is that the majority controls everything. So in the end, whoever manages to buy up the most stock wins. Put another way, whoever has the most money wins. True that. Unless Hideyoshi could obtain a large sum of money at this critical time, he could easily lose all that he had built so far. Therefore, more than anything else, he wanted a lot of money right now. Why the fuck is it being presented to us like this? I understand where this is going. Krause basically just flipped this shit right back at Hideyoshi. He is beginning to, create more ground. He couldn't wait for the division of Kinzo's inheritance, since no one knew when he would die. Oh my god, he is just flipping this on everybody, god damn. Well, as much as I'd like to continue the drama, because holy shit it's spiking, we will be saving it and ending it for this one. Well, with the, breeze going on here. But yeah, no, I'm tired, and I definitely recorded way longer than I wanted to, so whoopsies. But no, this was good. This was a good one right here. We continued on from the previous video for sure, and oh my gosh, it is heating up here in this fucking room here with everybody. While the man himself that has all this money is still kicking and brewing who knows what upstairs. This is going on. And of course, there's the discussion of, this gold, which, these guys and also the children are kind of having in their own way. It's a big deal. So, goddamn, yeah, no, this is big. This is some crazy shit. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in here. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz. And I will see you all in the next one. Take it easy.